Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be discussing the newest makeup announcements and releases. Welcome back, and today I'll be discussing the newest makeup announcement and releases that have been made in the last week. So, compared to last week, I don't think we have that much. I was kind of expecting that since last week we had already quite a bit more releases, I was thinking that we were going to see even more, especially like Valentine's Day releases. We do have a few in this one, but not that much to talk about, so I think this is going to be one of the shorter ones. Alright, so first one, TirTir, which I think this is one of those like K-beauty brands that became quite known for last year from their foundation. I think it was their like cushion foundation, and I think it was quite popular because I remember even in our like local K-beauty stores, I think it was like once they got the shades in, they kept selling out quite many times. So cushion foundation is what this brand is quite known for, but they are now expanding, and I do know, for example, that they do actually have like a different variation of the cushion foundations in their line, and I also think they have some setting spray and some skincare. But the sort of new product is they are doing a stick blush. So this is the 3-in-1 makeup stick, and this is a spring release for this 2026 season. I mean, for a stick blush release, I do think this looks kind of nice. I think some people were comparing the packaging that this looks quite a lot like, I think it was it House Labs or r.e.m.beauty's stick blush packaging? It was one of those brands either way that there were like some comparisons made, but obviously like you can't tell just based on the packaging is it a straight out dupe, because it could still be that the formula is quite different. I mean, the shades are like quite okay, but I do think this is also quite of a, what I would say, generic stick blush range. So for me, I never got into the cushion foundation because for me it seemed kind of a quite full coverage kind of foundation, and these days I do actually prefer something a bit more medium coverage, because on a 30 plus skin, usually a medium coverage foundation is a bit better, because some of the heavy coverage foundation can start looking pretty cakey and can emphasize textures. But the blush, I think for me, this is a skip because I have my fair share of blushes, and as a blush sticks, there's nothing that exciting about this particular launch. Then something from It Cosmetics. So It Cosmetics is launching a do-it-all sheer tint face balm. So this is quite interesting. So because name is sheer tint face balm, so I am kind of expecting this to be a more light coverage like foundation product. It Cosmetics is a brand that is quite widely accessible for me. However, my issue with their foundation range is that their foundations pull very yellow. So even the fairest shade, and I do actually think one of their like classical CC creams actually has a shade that they categorize in their shade description as cool tone shade, but when I actually swatched it in store, it was still like, it was actually like straight out orange. It wasn't yellow, that was orange, but so for me with this brand, the issue is that while I think I would be open to trying maybe a foundation product, because I think the foundations are the most famous thing, I think if the undertones of these foundation products are anything like similar to their CC cream, I think unfortunately it's gonna be a skip, because as I said, so for some reason the fair shades they are very like yellow heavy in terms of undertone. Then something from r.e.m.beauty, and this is actually like, I actually eyed these eyeshadow quads, and I was thinking that these actually for a like mainstream Sephora brand, these actually do look quite of a like nice quad. So I think in the picture there's 4 ones. I'm a bit unsure is this the full range, and I do have to say like these actually, like r.e.m.beauty is one of those brands that, well, obviously it's a Sephora exclusive brand, and I've been this over quite many times. I unfortunately live in a European country that doesn't have a Sephora, so for me Sephora brands are always something that I usually have to buy when I'm traveling. But usually when I have gone to the r.e.m.beauty stands, there usually hasn't been like anything that exciting. For example, I do know they have had quints in their eyeshadow palette range previously, and those haven't been interesting. The Wicked collection they recently did for the like second movie, that was actually the first r.e.m.beauty collection for a long time now that I meant like that, okay, wow, that is actually something that I could maybe like try a couple of things for. But these quads, well, these could actually, because r.e.m.beauty from Sephora brands, it's one of the more inexpensive ones, so yeah, depending, I might want to actually see some reviews and maybe like buy these if I could like get access to these maybe a bit easier later on, because I have to say these are actually like eyeshadow quads from a Sephora brand that is actually looking like interesting and something that I would actually like to maybe like try 1 or 2. So we did have some Valentine's in this one. So Colourpop is launching their Valentine's collection, and this year they're calling it the Hard to Get collection. I believe there's a pun intended in the name. So within this collection there's an eyeshadow palette. They are extending their, I think, their blush range. These heart-shaped blushes, they have had these in their line for quite some time. I think there are some lip kits, and I think those lip glosses are maybe, they are having some like Y2K inspired like lip glosses. The eyeshadow palette is actually pretty grey leaning for being a Valentine's palette. I'm a bit surprised because usually the Colourpop's Valentine's Day releases have been quite on these like on the nose Valentine's releases. So this one is a bit on the grey side. There's actually like when I'm really looking at the palette, there's like 2 shades of pink, and otherwise it is like very grey leaning. So with the palette, if you're especially eyeing the eyeshadow palette from this collection, don't let the packaging fool you, because the packaging makes this look that it's very a pink palette, but actually when you start looking at the shades, there's only like 2 pinks, and otherwise it's full on grey. So yeah, for me this is a skip. I have said this again, for someone living in Europe, Colourpop is very hard to get access to because their shipping times are very long. They don't offer expedited shipping to, at least to outside of the US, so that is the reason why these days I don't feel that it's like worth ordering. There used to be a time when actually Colourpop was worth ordering to Europe because the drugstore makeup we had over here wasn't so good, but now that the drugstore makeup here in the European countries, it has gotten better from what it used to be. That is the reason why, for example, I haven't been ordering from Colourpop in quite many years. Then a Makeup Revolution product that I am gonna put into my list of Makeup Revolution products I'm gonna try when these become available in our Makeup Revolution retailers. This is not a product that I'm gonna make a separate order for. So they have launched color filter correctors. I do need a peachy corrector for my under eyes because unfortunately my hectic life that I live, unfortunately that is showing in my under eyes. So I definitely do benefit from a corrector and from a peach or rosy leaning corrector that kind of helps with the black under eyes. So I think overall I looked on their website. I think in the promo image you're seeing there's 3 corrector shades. I think they had 5 or 6 shades on the website altogether. And the Revolution's concealer products, I have had pretty good luck with those. So this is a product that once I run out of my current, I'm still trying to use up the Catrice color corrector that I got from the advent calendar like over a year ago now. So it's about time to actually use that one up. So once I'm done with that one, and once this is a bit more easily like accessible on our like Revolution retailers, I might actually try this one out because I do think their complexion products are one of the better products. Then from Natasha Denona, and I think this might be like not like straight out official Valentine's release, but I think this is the kind of the Valentine's-esque release that she's coming out with. So she is expanding her High Glam collection, and this is the all-new High Gloss Hybrid Tinted Gloss Balm. So what is this? This cushiony, buttery and high shine lip innovation perfectly combines wear care and visible color. So it is a more, what I would say, opaque lip gloss, though even I look at the promo images and some of these shades are not looking that opaque, at least on the lips. It could depend on the shade. The Lush Lila shade is actually looking pretty fun. I'm looking at the model images right now. Oh, I don't need a Natasha Denona gloss. I mean, I have glosses and Natasha Denona's glosses are not cheap. I did like the nude-ish gloss I had from her like a year ago. I think that is actually one of the few glosses I actually like used up, and then I had decluttered it obviously because I had used it up, so that tells quite a lot that even though maybe like I think her gloss formula has been decent. Also the fresh mauve shade is looking quite nice. Oh dear. So I'm eyeing the shades on the models, and a lot of these are looking quite tempting, so this is probably gonna go to the pile of things that I Natasha Denona is usually a brand that I make 1 or 2 product orders per year because not all her launches are that interesting, but this could be one of those products that when she launches her next midi palette, because I will bet that we are gonna see, I'm actually surprised we yet haven't seen her first palette launch for this year, but I bet that one is coming. So when she's gonna launch a new palette, this would be something that I would maybe add into the order with the palette because some of the shades are looking quite nice, but as an individually, not something that I am going to be ordering. Then some Bobbi Brown products, and this is Valentine's release. I have to say the outer packaging design of this looks a lot more exciting than what is inside the packaging. So there's two face duos. There's a quad because Bobbi Brown does a lot of eyeshadow quads, and then we have one of their, I think that's their, it's either their liquid lipstick or lip gloss. Yeah, something about this, the outside of the packaging design of this one is pretty cool, but having seen Bobbi Brown's packaging in real life in Bobbi Brown's stands, this looks to be in one of their like cardboard packaging, and unfortunately compared to the price point for me, how much the brand is charging from their product, I would maybe expect a bit more upgraded packaging, because the cardboard packaging, it doesn't feel that sturdy when you like try it out in store, so that is like one reason why I'm kind of like meh with this particular launch. I do think like the pinkish face duo, like that's obviously it's pink, so of course it's something that I would like. The eyeshadow quad actually looks to be a more cool tone leaning, like mauvish neutral kind of quad, but yeah, for me this is a skip, because as a whole Bobbi Brown is not usually a brand that I'm that interested in. So Guerlain is coming out with a Terracotta Joli Tint Protecting Tinted Moisturizer with an SPF 20. That is actually a pretty low SPF for a tinted face products. Usually, like I was kind of like expecting, based on the marketing, that if this is supposed to be like a pre-summer release, I would kind of expect a higher SPF protection. Anyway, so this is another like tinted moisturizer kind of product. So we are seeing more light coverage foundation products. I'm purely out for this one because Guerlain is quite expensive, and I think there are quite a lot of like similar kind of skin tint products that you can get with a less of a price. This has been available apparently in the UK, 47 UK pounds, so in euros it's probably gonna be a bit more. So I think this is one of those products that unless you really like Guerlain, you can get a good skin tint at a lesser price. Okay, and then we have a new brand. So this is the Starborn Cosmetics, and I believe this is by the YouTuber Bad Tot the Brow. I do actually follow her on YouTube. She does great content on indie like eyeshadow palettes, and she does very like detailed swatches and kind of demo looks with them. But her brand has now launched, and as a part of the brand, there is a first launch, and it is a eyeshadow palette. I'm not surprised that it's a eyeshadow palette, again, knowing what kind of content this creator does. So this eyeshadow palette has 8 mattes and 4 shimmers, so it is a more matte heavy palette, and it's gonna be $47 US. I do think that is quite of a decent price for an indie eyeshadow palette. And yeah, looking at the color story, I think this goes to the category of palettes that it's a bit too green and blue heavy for me. So with a different kind of color story, maybe this could be a brand that I would maybe be interested in the future. I don't know, is Monolith Shop gonna stock this particular brand in Europe, because this is now a relatively just launched brand, so it could be that you so far can only order this from the brand's website. But congratulations to the creator anyway. I do think it's always nice when creators can start out like businesses and can like turn their passion for makeup into actually like creating products, so that is very nice. But for me, because of the color story mainly, because I'm a bit sure how easy this would be currently to get, it's a skip for me. L'Oreal is coming out with some lippies. So this is the Blurfiller Blurring Lip Contour. So is it a... On the models they have like put this all over the lip, so I think this could be something that you could either... I'm trying to zoom in. So I do think for a lip liner this is a bit of a... like the tip isn't fine enough in this one, at least based on the promo images that I'm seeing on the post. So I think this is one of those like lip pen kind of product that, yeah, you could probably use this as a liner, but also this is a product that you can use to like easy to like cover your whole lip area. Not something that I am particularly interested or in a need of. I do kind of like the shade range. It is very like more like neutral. There's quite a lot of like neutral pinkish leaning shades in this one, so that is probably why this particular shade range is appealing to me. But I think if you're looking for a bit more precise kind of a lip product, this could be something to look into. And I think the last releases today are from Physicians Formula. As I said, not a lot of things to discuss for this week. So these were available at Ulta's website, because Ulta does their like new makeup launches. They put it on their website on Sundays, and that's usually when we kind of get like the sneak peek of the new, especially drugstore products. So the first one of the Physicians Formula products is a Bronze Booster Sun Blur Glow Activated Bronzing Balm. I think Colourpop's, because Colourpop has a skincare brand under them, I don't remember the name of it currently, but I think Colourpop had a very similar product to this one that was actually quite popular amongst quite many, I saw quite many influencers giving the credit. For me, this kind of balmy bronzing product is not something that I'm usually like. Balmy products in general aren't my favorites, because even though my skin has been going towards more of the drier side, it's still not, I think, that dry that these kind of balm products, especially that they don't necessarily last on me the whole day. But I do have to say, for a drugstore, I actually think I kind of like the packaging of, like the cap of this one looks a bit elevated for being a drugstore product. Then they are bringing out a Sun Bronzer Glow Activated Pressed Bronzer, so I'm wondering that do these still have the same scent that the traditional Physician Formula bronzers have. Again, this has a pretty nice, the golden packaging. I do think that looks a bit better for the drugstore, but I am good in terms of my bronzers, and I would be, as I said, pretty interested to know that does this still have the like traditional scent that a lot of Physician Formula cheek products have. And then the last one is a Bronze Booster Soul Blush Glow Activated Pressed Blush. I think this is one of those blushes that could be a bronzer also on some skin tones, because this does have, it's like very red leaning, but it's a bronzy red leaning, so with some skin undertones you could actually use maybe this shade as your bronzer shade. I actually, for summertime, these sort of blush bronzer hybrids, I'm actually one of those people that for summertime specifically I could get behind something like this one. Is Physician Formula a brand that I would particularly buy from? Not necessarily. We do actually have some stores that do stock Physician Formula, but it takes a bit of time for their releases to come to us, because obviously this is a US based brand, so the US gets the product first. But I do kind of like the idea of blush bronzer, especially since, well, it's not yet very summery. It's actually snow currently outside, at least on my window. But once we do get to more closer to the summer season, I could like a product like this would be appealing, but necessarily not from Physician Formula. Those were the releases I had to discuss for this week. A very slow week. Nothing, I think, in this particular like week was like something that made me go that I want to get that one. Well, maybe the Natasha Denona lip gloss, but not separately as a separate purchase. We are saving that for when there is a palette that I want to get from the brand. Then I might add the lip gloss into my cart. But otherwise, pretty slow week. Comment down below if there were any interesting makeup releases that caught your eye during this week. If you like this video, push the like button and subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I can see another video. Bye bye!